3, 2, 1. We're live.
All right.
Got Mr. Broadwater in the house.
Thank you, Brandon. I appreciate it.
Absolutely, absolutely. Coming from Seeger, yeah.
Seeger High School, yes.
Everybody talks very highly of you. I didn't get the chance to have you as a teacher. I went to Attica,
yeah,
the rival nation.
Well, I can't. They're not always the smartest people. if they're promoting me, you got a big question right there.
Yeah, no, I'm very happy to have you though. I'm very excited, and I got a couple questions for you. Some things I love to talk about. We already kind of hit on a few things.
Sure.
Man, so kind of where we started though earlier about just like the technology changing.
Right.
When I was in school, now kind of dating myself a little bit. Everyone always thinks that I'm like 20 on here, you know, whatever. But I graduated almost 10 years ago.
Yeah.
And like back when I was in school, you couldn't have your phones.
Right.
And you know, like you were saying, now it's all changed, and it's almost promoted. It seems like.
Well, technology is it's every minute of our lives.
Yeah.
And we fought this at school, in the schools, trying to police the cell phones, and no cell phones at all. And then that became too big of an issue. And then it was cell phones in the hallway. That's okay. And now I think at least Seeger, and I'm sure Attica and most schools, I think, have pretty much given up on trying to fight that battle.
Yeah.
Trying to police it and to be, cell phone Nazis. And
it's got to be tough, man. It's got to be tough.
It is. I mean, and we're all addicted to our phones. That's what I tell my kids, right off. I said, we all are addicted to our phones, but this is the world we live in, and you got to be mature about it. And you don't want to disrupt the class. And they're pretty good for the most part. My kids are pretty good. But when I'm done doing my thing, they can get their phones out, and I don't have a problem with it.
Not sweating it.
As long as they're not causing problems, and they're pretty good.
Yeah,
they're pretty good about it.
I'd probably have like my ringtone going. Like, damn it, Brandon.
Well, they like to, they right now everything is they want to do their TikToks. And,
oh yeah, are you on TikTok?
No, but they've kind of clued me in, and we've watched them, and they've made some.
Tell me, you think you've been in any TikToks? You think maybe they got some videos?
Oh, I'm sure they did. They're always doing something, or I do something stupid, and they immediately. And I don't know how they get their phones out that fast.
They're on it.
I mean, seriously, I can't even answer my phone within a minute. And, they've already recorded it and moved on.
Man, I tell you, I've been at the high school the last couple of days, and it's funny because as this whole thing's gotten bigger, and like now whenever I go out to places, whatever, people like want to take pictures together,
right?
Which is cool, and it's like it's just as important for me as it is them. Like I always try to really push that. Like I'm super happy to take pictures with kids.
Yeah.
And as I was walking around the high school these last 2 days, they're not sly. Yeah. Like they bring it up like to their chest to like take a picture of me. Like, dude, nobody holds their phone like that.
Well, it used to be funny in the old days when it was no cell phone policy.
Yeah,
they were so good because they would be down in their laps and
it's
like, I don't know why you're staring at your crotch for. I mean, I know you got your phone out, but they were so they're pretty good at hiding it. And but it's always a battle, but it's really not as big of a problem now, I think, as it was a couple years ago.
Yeah.
And I know kids do stupid stuff with their phones, and that happens. And
and
so you really just got to hammer the idea that there are consequences if you do something stupid. There's going to be consequences.
Right.
But kids are kids. Kids do stupid things.
They're smart.
Yeah.
They're smart. They will hide that shit.
Oh yeah.
Let's see, man. Everybody already is talking about all the good things about you here in the comments. Bryce, he says, Mr. Broadwater is the teacher who really sparked my interest in history.
Well, better late than never, Bryce.
Oh man, but no, so it's cool because I wanted to get a teacher on just to get like kind of a perspective, and it came at the perfect time because it just so happens that now Lexi Haddock's really kind of spearheading this thing with HGTV, and they got a hold of me to shoot this video, and they wanted me out at the high school. So I've been at the high school the last 2 days. I haven't been to the high school since I graduated. Like I haven't been there for a game, for nothing. And now like I'm there, and I've been there for the last few days, and then now I have you here. So it's a really cool thing.
Yeah. I've been in high school for 34 years.
You gotta love it.
I've never left.
You gotta love it. Like if you're, I mean, as good as you are and having fun and loving the kids, like you gotta love it. It speaks volumes.
You know what? And it has gotten better.
Yeah.
I mean, it's continually gotten better. There was a point early in my career, first 4 or 5 years, where it was really touch and go if I was going to do this.
Really?
Yeah. I mean, you're young and you're struggling and you're trying to keep up and
Right.
all that kind of stuff. And then about the 4th year, I kind of hit my stride, and I had a really good class of '94, Vet Munson, and those kids were really fun, and that kind of saved me.
Really?
Yeah. And I thought, well, I can do it one more year, and now I'm to the point where it's just automatic.
Yeah. Could you even picture yourself doing anything else?
No.
Really?
No, I really couldn't. I think I'm too old now to do anything else. But you're really in a stride.
Yeah.
Where I'm at now, but I still love it, and that's the thing. Is I have a lot of friends who are getting close to retirement, or some already retiring.
Yeah.
And people's like, "Oh, when are you going to retire?" I was like, "Well, one, I got 10 years left before I retire. How old do you think I am?" But I don't see. I mean, I'm not bored with it. I'm not burned down on it. I mean, the kids are still fun, and I still learn something new all the time, and so it's not something I'm burned out on at all.
That is awesome to hear. I love hearing that.
That may change in 5, 6,
Sure.
7 years.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm sure there'll be a time when I'm like, it's time. But right now, I can't imagine, just stepping away from it.
Yeah, and like I think about like how much you said that it's always different,
Yeah.
and I think about like just with technology alone, like you said, but I mean like from day one of teaching to where you're at now, I mean everything's probably changed.
Oh God, yeah.
I mean
when I got my first job at Seeger was my first teaching job, and I'd worked I worked at a college in administration before that. When I got to Seeger, the new technology was Apple IIe's.
Oh yeah.
Is that what it was? Apple
yeah,
IIe?
I remember the Apple IIs.
That was the big breakthrough.
Yeah.
And then we finally got the internet out at Seeger. I want to say '98.
That's probably about right.
Is when it came. Yeah. And I think it was still a dial-up modem. You could only have like 2 computers at the same time.
Yeah.
But of course, it's evolved, and it's always, and I can't keep up anymore. I'm one of those old people that I'm behind the curve.
It moves so fast.
It really does. And
yeah.
I learn something, and then they update it, and it's like,
it's changed.
Can't you just keep it the same?
Yeah.
I'm still using Windows 7 and that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
But it is. It's fast paced, and of course the kids adapt to it really quick.
They do. Yeah. And I mean, growing up with it, like that, it's what they know.
Right.
Like,
they're immersed in it.
Yeah. I was talking to somebody not too long ago. I can't remember who it was, but we were talking about how manual labor was super easy, and for the generation really, I think prior to my generation,
right?
They would just adapt, and like now people, they talk about the millennials, they don't have any work ethic, they can't work, but it's so insane of just how it has flipped. Like it used to be manual labor, anyone could pick up a shovel, a hammer, a wrench, and fix things. Now these kids don't have that, but as far as like technology goes, they pick that stuff up, can fix it, do whatever with it.
Yeah, and it's what you're raised with. It's your environment. And people, and I hear this, this is like a social commentary. People will say millennials and Gen Zs they're self-absorbed, they're lazy, and that's all a bunch of crap.
Yeah, I mean, they get really shit on a lot
because I've been 30 years I've been with kids, and the kids have not changed at all.
Really?
Kids are kids. They act the same. They do stupid things. I've not noticed. I'm not like I've seen they've gotten lazier or better. It's just, it's the one generation slamming the other. I can tell you, as a baby boomer, there's a lot of baby boomers out there lazy as the day is long. Let me tell you that.
Yeah.
And I grew up with a bunch of them, so I don't get caught up in that whole generation thing. It really kind of makes me angry sometimes.
Yeah, I'm with you, and I feel bad because it's like it's almost like the social norm to kind of shit on the millennials, but anything else.
I don't buy that, and like I said, I know a lot of baby boomers who are lazy and stupid. So I'm not gonna dump it all on the millennials.
Yeah, man, it's awesome, but like, and even kind of thinking about when you were starting and getting into the, just into teaching in general, it's got to be difficult. There's got to be like for me, I'm a terrible teacher. I don't have the patience for it. I get pissed off real easy.
Yeah. I mean, I always wanted to be a teacher. There's one thing I knew, that even when I was in high school, I thought, this is what I'm going to do.
Really?
And I think, I've thought about this in the past, and when I went to high school, there was never that one teacher that I thought, man, this dude is just, I've never had that connection with a teacher.
Yeah.
And so I think maybe that kind of motivated me a little bit, that I was, I'll be that teacher that I never had.
It sounds like you did it too.
Well, I don't know. I mean, I've tried. And a lot of it's just being positive with the kids, try to understand them.
Yeah.
Trying to understand the idea that kids are stupid.
Right.
And that they're going to do stupid things, but they grow up.
Yeah.
And I have a lot of kids I'm friends with on social media who've grown up, that I've followed their lives. And, you kind of buy into them, and you're kind of proud of them. And, they become your friends as adults, and, you share, it's neat. And it's nice that I've got young people still, because, young people have a lot of energy. They bring a lot of energy to your class and to your life. And so that's really cool. I just had knee surgery last week, and I had a lot of get wells, and it's not like I was out looking for those, but it was really nice to get the, how are you feeling better today, Mr. Broadwater? How's your leg?
That is awesome.
And so it is, and it's young people are still pretty cool.
Pretty cool. Yeah, man. I mean, when I was in school, I was a shithead. I was like the worst kid ever. I'll own it.
I've had a few of those over the years.
Oh, I was a terrible kid, but like it's wild now, because the relationship that you have with a teacher isn't like a relationship that you have with anybody else.
Yeah.
It's not like your mom, it's not your friends, it's not your dad. It's just kind of like that in between the friendship and still like but a mentor.
Yeah. Yeah, you're right. You're right. It's a different place.
Yeah, and I think it's super interesting. And recently, I've had some teachers that had sent me messages that, like they say that I'm really proud to see what you're doing, and it's so cool to see that, being on the receiving end of that, because when I was a kid, they were like, you gotta get your shit together, and they were right.
You know what? But I always go into a school year thinking I'm going to connect with everybody. Yeah. And that's always my goal. I mean, to be polite and to be respectful of kids, and to, to want to make that relationship, but you don't connect with everybody.
Right.
We all have different personalities, and people connect differently, but you always want them to succeed. You always want them to push. It's like, I'm really worried about this kid. Will he ever? And so I always love it when it's the kid that I always thought, oh, I really hope they're going to be okay as an adult. And they really are okay as an adult.
Yeah.
They really do turn it on. Somebody you thought, I'm not sure.
Yeah.
And they prove you wrong. Yeah. And that really is cool.
Yeah.
I mean, and I've had a lot of, like I said, I know a lot of kids that I've stayed friends with over the years, and I love seeing their lives and all the things that they've done. And so, yeah, it is nice to make that connection, but you're right. It's different.
Yeah.
And some of them still call me Mr. Broadwater.
Really?
Kids 25 years ago,
yeah,
Mr. Broadwater. I said, you know what? You're an adult, man. You could call me Larry if you want. We don't have to. You don't have to. So I don't know.
It's that thing though.
It is.
Yeah.
It is.
And it's really cool. It's cool to hear about it too, because it's something that I've always been interested in, like, what's it like being a teacher and dealing with kids and everything. But like, man, it's just it's such an impactful job. Like, not that I'm a huge advocate for this, but a lot of people that I've talked to that might be successful in whatever path they've taken, there's always, at least from the people I've talked to, and I can think of one personally for me even, but there's always been one teacher that said, you're not going to be shit. Like, and I'm not a huge advocate for that, but I will say this, that they remember it, every one of them. And the people that I've talked to said that it has pushed them, like that specific instance, to be more and do more. Wow. So it's an interesting thing, and thinking about the impact that just one individual would have on someone's entire life, and then the structure of their life, has always been really intriguing.
Well, and what's cool about Seeger or Attica, you have a lot of different kids, a lot of different personalities, but you also have that in your teachers, a lot of different teachers and personalities. And they're all out there trying to connect with a kid in some way, however that is. Whatever they're, and coaches connect with kids differently, and they push kids differently, as different from your English teachers, different from your art teachers. You're trying to tap into that kid and find that thing that you can make that connection with to push them. And that's what I think is, I mean, it really is when your high school is really working together. It's really is a team effort, they'll say, what about this kid? Well, I can't get through this kid. I have no connection with that kid, but his football coach does, and he'll get into him, or, the basketball coach or the art teacher will get with them. And so it is really neat when you have a good team of teachers. You're going to reach a lot of kids.
I didn't really think about that, working together as a team like that.
And at Seeger, that is something we really, as a faculty, we really push. We are talking about identifying kids who need extra help or who need, somebody to make a connection with, and just to let them know that, somebody's there pushing them, somebody's there with them, helping, whatever. And so that is something we really push the last, I'd say, decade at Seeger, about building these relationships and this teamwork. And it is, we're constantly talking back and forth. How is this person? What are you seeing with this person?
Is it tough to stay on the same page with everybody? I mean, that's like a ton of communication.
It is. I mean, it's you're flying. I mean, but you're by the seat of your pants, because you are flying around with a lot of different kids, a lot of situations, and a lot of teachers. And who have their situations. And so, it is kind of crazy.
Yeah.
And you do what you can.
Right.
In the period of time that you do have.
Yeah.
So,
and then, man, so like with the internet, as it evolves, and like YouTube in particular,
right,
for me has been a catalyst.
Yeah.
And I mean, I guess the best way to put it is it's so easy to learn.
Yeah.
It's so easy to learn there.
Yep.
So are you ever fighting that? Like, I mean, if maybe you're teaching something out of a book and maybe it's outdated and the information is just so overwhelmingly there.
What I fight is bad information.
I bet that's
misinformation.
Sure. Yeah.
Because it's there, but no one vets it.
Right.
No one, my textbook, I know, is written by professionals.
Yep.
Now there may be mistakes, it may be slanted or something, but these are people who are professional historians that I trust.
Right.
YouTube, it can be anybody.
Yeah.
You and I can put on together a history show, and we can say anything we want.
Right.
The Nazis won World War II. We can say anything.
Yeah.
So that's really what I face a lot, is misinformation.
Yeah.
Now I look at YouTube and the internet. These are things that make my life better as a teacher. I use a lot of YouTube in class, a lot of video. Because it just makes it makes history come alive. Right. Things that when I was a kid, we didn't have.
Yeah.
And there's just so many things you can incorporate into it: music and advertisements and raw footage and all the kinds of things. So I look at those as definitely as tools to help me do better.
Mm-hmm.
But there's a lot of misinformation, and you're constantly fighting that.
Yeah.
To keep the kids, trying to tell them, you need to learn, this is the 21st century and this is not going to go away for them.
Right.
You need to learn what good information is and not disinformation.
Yeah. Yeah. And I mean, when I was a kid, history was my worst subject. I'm a terrible learner when it comes to like reading, or I've even tried to listen to audiobooks.
Right. Right.
And even that's difficult for me to stay focused, but I'm a really good visual learner.
Sure.
Whether it comes to a task or like doing something, or whatever, even just getting direct information. Yeah. And I think if I was in school when YouTube was readily available and the technology that is there now was out, I think it would have been a completely different thing for me.
Yeah.
It's got to be super helpful.
Well, there's everybody has a different style of learning. And even though I love history and I love reading, I'm a very slow reader.
Really?
Yes. And so I really have to, and the older I've got, the slower I've gotten. And so I really have to work through it and think about it and do that kind of stuff. But that's my style. Whereas my wife is very like you. She's hands-on. She's works it through. That's how she learns. She, I guess, very, very visual. Yeah. So we got to complement each other there. But kids have different styles, and you gotta, some kids are going to be great with hands-on stuff. The biggest mistake, I'm telling you right now, the biggest mistake education ever made in Indiana was when they got rid of industrial arts and home ec. And
I didn't even know they got rid of that.
Oh yeah.
Really?
Yeah. Probably, 2000. They started phasing those out.
Really? Yeah,
Well,
because I had home ec
Yeah.
in 2011,
Right.
maybe 10.
Well, and like we have a culinary arts program now,
Mm.
which is more advanced. You know, I mean, you're really talking about kids who are, you know, in the restaurant business and that end of it. Chefs. We have kids from Seeger that are in chef. I guess chef school.
Really?
Right now, yeah.
Didn't know that.
Super talented, and we have a super talented culinary arts teacher. But I mean, I'm talking about the old school home ec, you know.
Okay,
how to sew.
Yeah,
you know,
I remember that. Yeah.
and I took that, you know,
Yeah.
how to sew a button. I can't do it now, but I took those, and schools across Indiana have phased all that out.
Yeah, I had a girl not long ago. She asked me if I knew how to sew, and I was like, "Damn, I wish I could say yes right now. I wish I could say."
I ripped a button off the other day, and my wife, I was like, "Can you put this on? Because if not, I got to take it off yet,
right?
To have them do this button.
just zip tie it.
Yeah,
that's
staple it on.
Yeah,
I don't know.
Yeah,
but yeah, I mean, that is one thing that I think education is lacking. They need to bring back those practical skills. You know, now we have vocational courses.
Yeah, I was in machine trades.
Yeah, but I'm talking about the in-house, you know, I'm thinking about like electricity or small engines and those kind of things.
Yeah,
are really needed because not everybody reads out of a book.
Right. It's got to be, that's got to be a big thing too, a big hurdle of like applying this blanket style of learning to so many different personalities.
Right.
I mean,
that is to you. That's what we do.
Yeah.
You know, how do you
take a one size fits all and put it? Yeah.
And you have to reach all these kids, and of course the state holds you accountable with these testing, and so even these kids that don't learn this way still are held accountable this way.
Right.
You know, and that's always a challenge, and that's what, you know, your administration and your teachers do.
Is it still kind of glorified to like just tough it out? Like I can remember when I was going through school, and there was like some certain classes, and I don't want to put them out there on blast, but they're definitely bullshit classes. Right. And like it was really glorified of like just telling the kids like, you're just gonna have to tough this out. I had to do it when I was a kid, you know, like, and it was like that.
Well, you know, that's kind of part of life sometimes.
It is. Like, I'm not against it.
Yeah,
I'm just, there
were a lot of classes I took when I was in high school back, you know, a long time ago, that I thought this is just stupid. But you know, sometimes there's things in life that are just stupid. You just got, like you said, just got to tough it out.
You got to do the shit.
You got to tough it out, and so I guess there is some merit to that. Is you know, telling a kid that, you know, that you just have to figure out a way to do it. Yeah, and that's one thing. You know, when my kids were in Attica, both my children graduated from Attica, and that was one of the things that my wife and I is like, you know what? Sometimes in life you got to figure out how to get through it. Yeah, you know, it may be tough, it may suck, but you got to figure out how to make it happen. And that's a life lesson. You know?
I'll tell you what, when I think back of like major like inflection points in my life, I can very rarely remember even the big goals that maybe I wanted to get done. Right. But everything went smooth sailing. Right. It's hard to recall those, but I can definitely tell you without a doubt the times that I had to do shit I didn't want to do, and at the end I got through it, and I got the goal done, and I was happy. You're right. You feel accomplished. Yeah, yeah. Well, you've overcome a hurdle. Yeah. You know, when I was at Ball State, in education, you had to take 3 English essay classes to graduate. And even though I'm very good at reading, English or essay was not my strong suit. Yeah. And I mean, I worked my butt off, got C's, but those are the ones I remember. Yeah. Because I mean, I went to tutoring, you know, you went to, and I was happy to get that C. Yeah. Because you felt like, and I really accomplished something here. Oh, I'm a terrible writer. Yeah. I've, for a couple of videos that I've done, I've had to write scripts for them. Right. And it's like, I'm not qualified for this. I can't write. I could barely write my name. I've gotten better over the years because I write a lot. And I read and grade a lot of essays and stuff like that. So I've gotten better. But I can tell you when I was a kid, I was very much a 3-sentence paragraph. That was it. Oh yeah. Like I try to be, I'm one of those guys, like when I text you, sometimes I'll put commas and like periods and shit in there. Like, you know, but even that, it's like, that's helped a little maybe. Yeah. But I can remember being in school and just, I couldn't even put together like a legit sentence, right, you know. Right, I can remember even back in grade school, like remember the preposition song and all that stuff. Yeah, man, it was just awful.
I hated diagramming sentences.
Yeah, and I remember they had the overhead projector. Do you still have those things?
No. It's like, all smart boards now.
Yeah, wild. I can remember going up there and like you'd have to draw on that thing with the dry erase marker. And, damn. Yeah. Now I look back at those things and I kind of miss it. Like I would do that.
Yeah, not me.
I'd sit in a class for that.
Not me.
Yeah, it's so. I mean, what else? Like what else is tough about it? What do you love? I mean, what's it like?
Well, we've talked about the kids and their energy and their attitudes, and like I said, I still think kids are great.
Yeah.
I mean, they're fun. They're fun to be around. And it's good to be in a job where literally I laugh every day.
I bet.
About something where they're constantly making me laugh or doing something silly or saying something. I had a girl last week come in and I still don't know if she was dead serious or just joking, but she had a straight, she goes, Mr. Broadwater, she says, I need to take this period off. I got to get my life together. I just started rolling.
Welcome to my world.
I was like, boy, if I could get my life together in one class,
yeah,
I would be there with you.
Yeah. Let me tell you something, young lady. You're living the same life as me.
Some of the challenges is one, trying to keep your energy up throughout the day. That's a challenge for me anyway. To try and find something new, do something different, keep the energy, keep that energy level up. There's a lot of administrative challenges, but that's all just
like I was even thinking like the state. I mean, I bet the state puts, if I know the state on how they handle certain things, a lot of times they put pressure on shit that isn't too important. Is it like that in the school systems?
Well, now I can't hardly speak to this because I'm in one of the few areas that's left that's not tested by the state.
Oh.
So they don't test social studies at the high school level. So it's mostly math, English, science. At the junior high level, they're starting to do testing at social studies. So I don't have that same pressure. And I don't have to face the same, scrutiny that those teachers face. Now, for those teachers, it's a different animal. I mean, it really is. They're kind of on the gun all the time to address these problems or look at that data, find out who's falling behind, who needs remediation.
Right.
So it's a huge challenge.
Yeah, it seems like you'd be held super accountable for things that aren't entirely in your control.
And that's one of the things that teachers argue, or fight with the state. Is like you're being held accountable for things that maybe are outside my I can't control this kid does his homework at night.
Right.
I can't, I don't know what his parents are doing.
Yeah.
But you know what, that's not, we teachers can argue about it. We can complain about it. We can talk to our reps about it. But at the end of the day, the game is the game.
Got to do it.
We can't change it. And so until the state changes it, or the voters change it, that's not outside our power, definitely.
Yeah. What about parents? Is that ever like a pain in the ass dealing with parents?
When I was younger, it was a problem.
Yeah.
But the older you get, you as a teacher get that maturity too.
Right.
And I went to a conference and the person at the conference made this statement and it just clicked with me. And it really took all the stress of dealing with parents away. Is that, when you go to a doctor, the doctor doesn't apologize to you. Mrs. Johnson, I'm sorry, Susie's got an F. It's Susie has an F.
Right.
You're sick, and here's why. Here's what we're going to do.
Yeah.
It was very clinical, very straightforward. And I thought
that's a good way to look at it.
That's exactly. I thought, oh my gosh, you're right. Here's the problem.
Yeah.
Here's what I think we should do to solve the problem. If the parent doesn't want to follow through, that's really on the parent.
That makes complete sense.
It's really on the parent student.
Yeah.
And so once I figured out that this is not personal, this really is clinical. I'm the professional for whatever that's worth.
Yeah.
And here's my opinion. Here's how we're going to solve it.
Yeah.
That really took a lot of stress away.
That's a really good way to look at it.
Yeah.
And also even on the receiving end of that, what are you going to say?
Right.
You're not giving them an out.
Right. Well, and that's exactly. That's not, You know, it's not a reflection or on them or anything. It's this is the problem we have.
Yeah. What are we gonna do?
When we have to solve it. You know, and when you get sick, you don't say, well, you've got cancer, you've screwed up.
Right.
Here's the problem. Here's how we're going to approach it, and we go from there. So yeah, I mean, you know, sometimes you get but I think the parents are probably in the younger levels. That's where you really get the parent issues.
Yeah.
As opposed to at the high school level. You know, because I deal with juniors and seniors mostly.
Yeah.
So by the time you're a junior and senior, your parents just want you they're just trying to survive.
Yeah.
You know, they just want you to graduate.
Yeah.
You know, just do whatever.
Yeah. If they're anything like my parents, they're not mad at the teachers. They're telling me, dude, get your shit together.
Please, just pass them, please.
Yeah.
I get some of that sometimes.
Are they, and now lines are a little blurred for me because I don't know if it's because I'm getting older or if it really is this, but do you think that the kids that you're teaching, are their parents typically younger now than maybe what you've seen before, or about the same age?
No, I'm just the same.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it's just as I get older,
I'm older.
Everyone's having kids.
Yeah, everybody's younger. I mean, you know, I'm older, but I don't think that's different or anything. I mean, I have the whole spectrum. I have very young parents and I have older parents, and you know, so no, I don't see that as an issue. Do
you have like, I remember going through my history class.
Yeah.
And it seemed like the teacher that I had, in this particular class, the teacher that I had he struggled to keep everybody paying attention because it was just, in that class, it was super boring. Like, and it wasn't his fault. I don't think. It was just that there were certain things he had to teach that weren't, you know, super enthusiastic, and keeping kids attentive seemed to be a major struggle. Do you have anything like that? Like where it's like, all right, guys, come on.
Well, yeah, there's lots of, like, you know, when I do the Industrial Revolution, I'd rather pull my own teeth.
Really?
Yeah, I speed it up, and we you know, you go as fast as you can. But you know, I guess I've always tried to, I think for a history teacher, you have to make it relate to what their world is. Even if it's history,
that's a good point.
There still has to be a tie-in someplace. And so we always try to talk about that. And you know, so you get through the tougher stuff, or you try to speed it up.
Yeah.
I mean, certainly there are things that I don't enjoy teaching, or things that I really enjoy teaching that they hate.
Oh,
like
really?
The Great Depression. You know, I find it fascinating, but there's no way you can make the Great Depression super interesting for a kid.
Right. Yeah.
For a kid.
That's the thing too, is I look at it now, like the things that I was super interested in.
Yeah.
Actually that I probably wasn't interested in back then as a kid, they interest me now. Like the Industrial Revolution.
Yeah.
I watched like a whole series on Netflix about it.
Oh,
it's super interesting.
Yeah.
But being a kid, you're like, I don't care about the railroad. I don't care about metal. I don't care about any of that.
Well, you have to remember from a teacher standpoint, you're on a timeline. You know, I can't spend a lot of time getting into topics very deep because I need to be, you know, in May, I need to be somewhere in the 21st century, hopefully.
Oh, I see. Yeah.
So you really have to learn how to pick and choose what you're looking at. I was just reading a book by one of my favorite historians, and he was talking about, but he's an historian and a teacher, not just a historian. And he was saying that you know, it really is about the forest. What are the most important things that you need to make sure they know? And then once you have that, then you can fill in the forest with some twigs.
That makes sense.
You know, I mean,
that's
if you have time, you can fill it in. And so I always go through and I think, well, you know what? They need to know this. They need to know this. They need to know this, or at least have an idea of it. Now, you know, when you take a survey history course as a junior in high school, it's not going to stick.
Right.
You know, I mean, you're being introduced to these ideas, but at least it's something that's out there.
That makes sense.
And then as they get older, there may be something that clicks with them.
Yep.
Something they hear later. And they may look it up themselves on YouTube and all these Netflix and all these great resources. And so hopefully it kind of builds over time.
Right.
But, you know, for all I can do as a high school history teacher is to give them just a rough framework. You know, Industrial Revolution, World War I, World War II, Vietnam, that kind of stuff. Kind of walk them through a chronology, and hopefully something sticks, and hopefully they build on it. Yeah. And I've had kids talk to me later And it's like, yeah, I wish I would have paid more attention. And I'm like, you still
I'm
would have
sure.
remembered it. You know, you
Right.
were a kid, you were 17 years old,
Yeah.
but they're interested in it now, and that's all that matters.
Yeah. I wanted to go through some of these comments too. I always like seeing what people have to say.
Yeah.
There's a ton on here rooting for you.
All right.
There's a ton.
All right.
Let's see.
Probably the ones rooting for me are the ones that caused me the most stress back in the day.
Yeah, probably.
Rooting for me to fail.
Yeah, no kidding. All right, so let's start here. What are your thoughts on the governor's plan for teacher raises? Is it enough? Hopefully they'll fast track it instead of waiting until 2021.
Ooh, who is that?
That's Doug Warren.
Wow, that's a good question.
Yeah.
Well, that's political, so I just give you my political opinion on this. I'm certainly not an expert on this. Yeah, I'd like more money in the system.
Sure.
From a selfish standpoint as a teacher, it's been a decade since the state has really put any money in it.
Really?
Well, yeah, all the way back to 2008 when the big recession hit, the Great Recession hit. You were just a kid. Well, I guess you'd been in high school.
Yeah,
Okay.
I actually remember.
Well, the state cut a lot from education, froze money, and they've been trickling money back into the system the last couple of years, but it's not keeping up with inflation or anything like that.
Right.
So yeah, I would like to see them put more money into it.
Yeah.
I mean, we're a capitalist system, and if you want teachers to stay in the career, you've got to pay them.
Yeah.
Or they're going to take their talents somewhere else.
Do you fight that now?
All schools do.
Really?
All schools are fighting this. There are teacher shortages everywhere. Science, math, and stuff. And some schools are fighting it harder than others. I know Attica has fought this battle.
Yeah.
Inner city schools fight it. We have it at Seeger. Probably not as bad as I think some schools have it. We've managed to attract some pretty good talent, but everybody's having it. But it's capitalism,
right?
If you're going to be 35 years old and you're still making 30 grand a year, you can't live on. You can't raise a family on that.
Yep.
So they move on to other careers, and so the state's going to have to make a decision. I mean, the economy's booming right now.
Yeah.
So what do they do with this?
Yeah, that's true.
And I know it's expensive. But you know what? Everything's expensive.
Yeah.
So they have to decide where they put what their priority is. And do I think the governor will do it? No.
Really?
I don't
think so.
I think he'll give a lot of lip service to it. I think they'll drag their feet for as long as they can. And then when the economy slows down, they'll use that as an excuse not to put any money in it. But that's me personally. I hope they prove me wrong.
Right.
I mean, I truly do. There's a lot of talented people out there.
Let's see. Troy Sheridan says, ask about rambling on.
Rambling on with Troy. Troy and I had a podcast.
You did?
Well, I don't even know. It was a podcast. It was a radio show.
Yeah. Okay.
This was back sports radio on our local station, and we did it for about a year and tried to focus on Attica sports.
Sure.
And highlight all the things, and we included Seeger and some of the local things, and it was a lot of fun. It was a lot of fun. So
you're a pro. You need to be.
No, I'm not a pro.
You need to be over here teaching me the ways.
I am.
That's what it is.
When Troy and I did it, Troy was the pro. I was more like the color guy. You know what I mean?
You're relatable.
Troy knew the stuff, and I was the sidekick.
Hey, that's all
but
right,
I always
though.
imagined when we did it, I always watched I would watch ESPN. I'd say, oh, this is how I'm going to do it. I'll do it like this. I watch Mike and Mike in the morning, and I'll do this.
Right. I try to pull inspiration from other people. Yeah. And like, you don't want to steal their style, but like, there's things at work and you're like, oh, that's a good idea.
It's more borrowing than anything.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. Let's see. Yeah. Somebody says what the country needs to do with schooling is take away so many standardized tests. There are just more. This keeps moving. They're just more than everyone can endure.
Well, and I'm not totally against standardized tests. We are over tested.
Really?
And the state spends way too much money on testing. Literally in the multiple millions of dollars. I think maybe last year it was somewhere in 90 million they spent on testing.
Damn.
Yeah, it's a lot. It's a big chunk of cash.
Yeah.
I think there does need to be testing, but it needs to be real-time testing. So you have the data. It doesn't do you any good to test a kid in the spring and not know what this until November of the following year.
That's a good point.
How do you adjust? How do you help that kid?
Right.
So, but there are some good testing out there that does give you real-time data, where they're strong, where they're weak, and that kind of stuff. So I'm not totally against it.
Yeah, I mean, it would only make sense to be able to hold teachers accountable.
Yeah,
in some way.
Exactly. And I don't think teachers are against it. Standardized testing and where your strengths are and that kind of stuff. But there's a difference between what you are accountable for and what you have no control over.
Right.
And that's, I think,
that seems like that'd be a big hurdle to bridge that gap.
It is a big hurdle. It is a big hurdle.
Yeah.
But that's when you have to bring in all the data. You have to look at socioeconomic data. What's going on with this child's family?
Yeah.
Or where you have to look at the big picture to collect that data.
I'm sure that's tough because it doesn't only play out the of what is physically available for them, whether it's school supplies or what kind of technology they can have now, but it also plays a big role in their mental aptitude. Like, I mean, what is this kid going to respond to? Do they want to be
in their development?
Yeah.
I mean, we're all, the brain develops all throughout our adolescence. And right now I'm reading things they're saying all the way up until we're like 25.
Yeah.
And it does. I mean, some people, have the resources to help and some people don't.
Right.
And so that's something you have to look at the big picture. So I'm not a total against standardized testing, but I think the way we apply it now is not realistic.
Yeah. I mean, I would probably side with you on that. It just seems like it's hard for me to bash it because I don't have a better, I always try to keep my mouth shut unless I got something to say.
I understand. And I'm not an expert on it either.
But like you're saying though, it's like, damn man, there's got to be something.
Yeah,
got to be something. This is an interesting one here. What about Common Core? I don't know anything about this, but I've heard a lot of people bitch about it, and I've heard.
I just don't know enough about Common Core to really. And Indiana dumped it.
Did they?
Yeah, I mean, back when Mike Pence was governor. Common Core was something that was started by the governors. Okay, so the governors of the United States wanted this common curriculum. And so they started kicking this around during their meetings, so the Governors Association. Well, then the federal government picked it up and they said, well, you know what, that's a great idea. We think we're going to help you. We'll put money in this. We'll come up with this curriculum. And then all of a sudden, when the federal government picked it up, then all of a sudden you've got governors for political reasons who are not, oh no, we don't want, we're not going to be in it anymore.
Right.
Mitch Daniels was one of the governors who actually supported the idea.
Really?
And then when the federal government picked it up, Mike Pence is like, no, we're done. And so but I don't really know enough about Common Core.
Yeah.
To make any type of intelligent comment about it. Although I know Indiana doesn't do it.
Yeah, I mean,
we have our own curriculum that's developed in Indiana. I think it may be a kind of a variation of Common Core, maybe, but I don't know.
Really?
I don't know.
Yeah, and then like for you, I mean, how do you find the inspiration to mix it up each year? Because I'm sure that it's something different every year, right?
And my wife laughs about this all the time. She goes, "It's history. What has changed?" Because I'm always out there doing something. And I'm like, because, you don't do it the same every year.
Right. Yeah. I mean, even for you wouldn't want to teach the same thing.
Well, no, I mean,
over and over.
The basic framework I know. I mean, I can wing it no matter what the subject is.
Uh-huh.
I've been there that long.
Right.
But, you're constantly, I learn new things every year. There's things I think, I want to put this in there. I'll take this out, or you learn something new, or, I'm constantly changing things up.
Right.
So yeah, I couldn't do the same thing every year.
Oh yeah.
It would drive me insane.
Yeah, I'm with you.
And I want to put the best lecture out there. I want to put the best lesson out there. To have the perfect test,
Right.
I'm striving for that.
Yeah.
And so, sometimes I really do a good one. Sometimes like, damn, I really nailed that.
Yeah.
And then other times I'm thinking, man, that just fell flat.
Really? Yeah.
So I always said that being a history teacher is like working in Vegas. You do 6 shows a day, and some shows are better than others. And the the morning show maybe not as strong as the middle show. And,
it's a good way to put it. I just came back from Vegas, so I can relate.
Yeah, you got to keep that energy up, man.
Yeah. How about that? What about towards the end of the day? I mean,
it's tough for me.
Do you teach? So how about this though? As far as things being the same, do you teach? So you like your first hour versus your 7th hour.
Yeah.
Are they the same lecture, same everything?
Well, I have 3 preps.
Okay.
Okay. So I do a world history course. I have an AP history course.
Okay.
And then I have my regular U.S. history.
Uh-huh.
And so my regular U.S. history meets 2nd hour. And so I will do 2nd, 4th, 6th, and 7th.
Uh-huh.
And that's the same. That's
okay.
the same lesson. Now I may tweak it because there's times I'll do something 1st, 2nd hour and it just doesn't go.
Oh yeah.
And I'm thinking I need to alter that so 4th hour I'll change something completely different.
Ah.
Or I'll do something kind of on the spur of the moment that really I thought, damn, I need to reduplicate that.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, whatever it was that I said or however I presented it or whatever, I try to duplicate it. So yeah, you're constantly trying to tweak it but the outline is the same.
Yeah.
The structure is the same. History doesn't. Vietnam comes around every year,
right?
You know, at the same time, and World War I happens in 1941, regardless.
Yeah, yeah.
know?
Like I just think about being there towards the end of the day. I'd probably be just ready to get out of here.
My energy is 6th and 7th hour. It's really, you know, you're dropped.
These kids are just like 6th and 7th. I got him next year.
This is something that my wife gets on me about. Tara,
I knew this was gonna happen.
You're an idiot.
Dang it! Your wife ruined it, didn't she?
No,
Tara, there's the camera. Get in the camera. Say hello.
So bad. I thought he would pee.
Okay. There's a backstory to this. I'm a little jumpy.
Yeah.
Okay. So I'm mowing my yard one day.
You better be honest. You're more than a little bit.
I'm mowing my yard. Well, you got me a couple different times. Remember in the parking lot and was that the mall? The mall parking lot. You know, the one place I'm not expecting it anyway. She scared the shit out of me. I mean, literally. So I'm mowing my yard.
I got a 7 o'clock appointment.
Thank you for coming. That was Tara. She cuts my hair at Stylistics, and we planned this out for her to come scare you today.
But so I'm mowing, and I'm in the zone.
Yeah.
You know, I'm looking down. I'm thinking, I don't know. I'm not paying attention to her. And she pulled her van right up beside me and honked, and I mean scared the shit out of me. and she has 3 little boys. You probably know.
Yeah.
Everybody knows the boys. And they're laughing. They thought, so we've had this going on for a while now. So then she gets me one day in Lafayette.
Yeah.
Scares me at the mall just by chance. You know, so it's one of the chance encounters.
Like one of the odds, yeah.
Yeah. So last summer she's weed eating and she's going at it. Now, you know, she had headphones on.
Oh yeah.
And
now's my time.
The boys are playing, and that's exactly I thought. Yeah. I'm taking the trash out. I said, oh. So I'm laughing and I'm telling the boys to be quiet, and I scared it. So now this has been this ongoing war.
Yeah.
But I'm definitely jumpier than she is.
Well, so where it even came about was I put this Facebook status out, and I said, hey, I'm looking to get a teacher on the podcast, and everyone was commenting on there, you know, get Broadwater on, get Broadwater on. Well, she texted me that night and said, if you get him on, let me know. And I said, okay, well, I was going to message anyways because there was a lot of people that wanted you to come on. Yeah. And I didn't know you before then, so I didn't even know if this would be anything you'd be interested in. I was like, I'll get back with you, Tara. I'll let you know. So then I put it out there today that you were coming on. She sends me a text. She goes, I am so mad at you. And I'm like, oh, what did I do now? And she's like, I didn't know that you were having him come on. I'm booked today.
Yeah.
And I said, well, I got to come in to get my hair cut today anyways. I'm leaving for Florida tomorrow. I got to get going. So I go in there and I was like, you know, this is the time that we're doing this. What do you think? Can we make this happen? She's like, well, yeah, I think I can squeeze in a little bit of time. She's like, I got 5 minutes to probably head over there. And I was like, she really, really wanted it. And she had her, like, I think her babysitter brought that mask to her at work.
I'm sure.
It was this big orchestrated ordeal just to get
She's a stinker, man. She is a stinker. And she thinks it's as funny as the boys do.
Oh, yeah.
You know, I told her, I said, one of these days I'm going to have a heart attack. You know, I'm sure you're going to scare me. So I told Joanne, I said, you know, next time I'm going to fake a heart attack.
Oh, you should have, man, because
I'm not sure I'm a good actor.
She goes, well, I'm going to try to creep through the door. I don't want to, like, jump through there and then give him a heart attack. And you should have just looked at her, just hit the heart, and just leaned back in the chair and just looked straight up.
Yeah, she wouldn't care. She wouldn't care.
Man, no, I'm super glad to have you here though, and it's been a lot of fun.
Yeah, it has. It has.
Let's see. Brittany Houghton says, Mr. Broadwater's lectures are great. I try to go in his class a couple times a week with my clients just to listen. That's cool to hear.
Yeah, Brittany is a former student, and she now works out there as a counselor, and so yeah, I see her. She pops in and out. We talk about the world. We share our frustrations in the world in general. So that's kind of neat too.
Yeah.
You know, a lot of my former students are now colleagues of mine.
Yeah, that's got to be
crazy?
cool, right? That's got to be wild. Yeah.
My principal is a former student. He does a great job. A lot of the teachers I work with are former students. You know, are colleagues now, and that's kind of neat. You know, my physical doctor,
really,
is a former student.
No kidding.
Yeah,
that's got to be really cool.
And we were just talking about all the things from all the kids from Seeger who have moved on and done other, you know, all these things, and doctors and lawyers, and you know, we have a student that works at Microsoft.
Oh yeah, that's really cool. Yeah,
Pixar.
Really,
Pixar.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's, I mean, that's, you know, to
be
kind
a
of
part of that,
to be a small part of that.
Yeah.
You know, because you really do share that success. You know, it's like, that's really cool, man.
Right. Yeah.
You know, I had a small part in that.
Yeah. Don't mind my dog, everybody.
No.
He's a wild beast out there. Tara got him all fired up is what happened. I know that. But yeah, no, I mean, I was actually talking with another teacher that I had back in grade school, actually. This hasn't been that long ago, but he kind of pulled me aside and he's like, you know, I want to let you know I'm really proud of you on, you know, on what you're doing. And it feels really great to have a small, he's like, I don't want to take away from your thunder or anything like that, but to have a small part in that and see your students succeed in what you would want, you know.
You really
he's
do.
Like, every teacher wants that.
I agree.
And it's cool to hear that, you know, it's because being the student and looking up to the teacher and having like that same relationship we talked about, where it's a very specific and unique relationship, but also on the flip side of that, of the teacher being able to look at the same people and you know, having that relationship that's like, I'm super proud of you for this. And I feel
and you know, I think students should know that you know, we really are rooting for you. You know, I mean, maybe it doesn't seem that way at the time, but when you do great, we feel good about it too, you know. So yeah, we really are. I mean, I've all the years I've taught, there's only been a couple kids over the years that I thought I just couldn't connect with, you know, in some way, just couldn't make a connection with. And so, you know, I look at all those kids I've had for all those years, and I think some of them were pretty screwy, and some of them were, you know, but you really are rooting for them, man. I want them to succeed. I want them to, you know, and to be just like you said, to be a little part of that, of their success. And so I don't know any teacher that at least I've dealt with over the years that didn't want that.
Right. I'm sure. Yeah. And like I say, you know, it feels good to even make those same people that maybe you look up to or that played a significant role in your life. It feels good to make them proud, you know, like those people look back at you and, you know, you think, check this out, this is where I'm at, you know, and you played a partial role in this.
Yeah. Even if it's just them saying, you know, I did it without none of your help. You know? So it's like, well, you did it. That's all we care about.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Well, hey, I'll wrap this up. I don't want to keep it too late, but you know, this has been a great podcast. I'm very glad to have you here.
It's been fun.
And it's great to meet you.
Yeah, it was nice meeting you.
You're a very easy talker. Nice and I always like, you know, I like meeting teachers and I like meeting new people and talking to them and hearing
I talk for a living, so this should be the one thing I can do.
I love it.
I love my mouth.
Well, it's been great. Before we jump off here, I'd like to thank the sponsors that make this possible. There's Warren County Creations. They make cool things like that gator head over there. They weld things out of steel. They make like gator heads. It's actually my dad, Sean Briles, that made that. And deer heads, butterflies, dragonflies, you name it, they make it. First fine air today. They let me record in that bank, and and they really helped me out with a lot of cool things. And being behind this podcast is a huge help. So thank you, First Financial of Williamsport, as well as the BP in Williamsport. Mike's a great guy, and Mike and Shannon both, they give me hell every time I come in there, but everyone knows I go there and nowhere else. Delta Welding, Rex, thank you so much, man. You have done a lot for me over the last year and a half or so, and I'm very excited to work with you in the future, which we do have some things on the horizon, so go check out their Facebook page. Mike Grady, if you're listening to this, thank you. I couldn't do all the things I do without your help, man. I really appreciate it as well. And not last, but Mike Alsop, he came in. If you haven't heard that podcast yet, it is available on YouTube, Spotify, iTunes, Stitcher, Facebook, anywhere you're going to listen to it, it's there. And that's just about it. I'm leaving for Florida tomorrow, and so the podcast will be delayed for a week, but I will pick back up when I get back from Florida in a week, and we'll take it from there. Anything you want to add before I
Hey, one last thing. Let's give a shout out to Lexi Haddock.
Yes.
And her HGTV campaign.
She's doing this thing.
She is on it, and I've gotten caught up in her energy.
Yeah.
And so
it's good. We just took a photo together.
Yeah, I know you're helping her.
Yeah.
And so if you're not familiar with it, get on social media, look up Lexi Haddock and Instagram and Facebook, and I'm not sure what else she's on, but she's gonna do it. I'm telling you,
I know.
She'll get them here if she has to drive down there and drag them herself.
She will. And I was over getting my hair cut, and they asked me, and they said, "Do you think that we have a chance?" I said, "Yeah, I do actually."
Hey.
And I really do. I mean, this is a prime location for HGTV to come out. There's a ton of support behind, just with the community alone.
Yeah.
There's a lot that could happen here, and
a lot of potential.
It's there. It's definitely there.
And you know what? Regardless of what happens, she's got the energy of the whole town going.
Yep.
Everybody's talking about it.
Yeah, we did a podcast just a couple days ago, and that's one thing that I had mentioned is, and she knows it, but getting the community involved and everybody coming together and bringing some kind of communication in the center is key, and it brings happiness to so many people.
Yeah, she's like our little cruise director.
Yeah,
she's taking control.
Yeah, I love it, man, and I'm very proud of her. I hope that
I do too.
I really hope that it pans out. And anyway,
she gets her own show.
That's what I'm at. Yeah.
Lexi's pad or something. She can do her own show.
Yeah, that's great. Well, hey, thank you again for coming.
Thank you for having me.
If you guys are listening to this will be on all the podcast listening platforms tonight. Hopefully, I got a vlog that I'm putting together, and somebody else just put on here, make a video with your dad again. I am doing another video with my dad, like a dash cam style video. So we try to do that every couple of years. This is going to be the year. Let's see. Last one. Thanks for all that you do for your students. Broadwater, you rock. Proud to be a Patriot.
All right.
Hey, thank you guys for listening, and I will see y'all real soon.